Okay, so let's start with a question. I'm also very interested. When did you start WSET in Wisconsin? When did you start going through the WSET, and why did you start teaching WSET?
We started the WSET in 2020. Um, we hosted a number of tastings with different producers. We have winery visits, and there wasn't a formal wine education that was available in Wisconsin. So there was a lot of interest. So we made the decision to pursue becoming an APP here. I had such a great experience with WSET myself. I completed the advanced in 2010 and the diploma in 2016. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's given me a foundation for our business. We've had the wine bar since 2011, and I'm happy to share a globally recognized wine certification in the state. It's actually the only place in the state where you can achieve the certification of that quality. How about yourself?
I mean, I did my WST level. I never did level one. I did level two online when online was not a thing. I basically bought the course. I got my books delivered to me. I prepared on my own. I flew to Belgium, for 24 hours just for the exam. It's a crazy story, I came to Belgium for 24 hours. It was 24-hour rain. There was a whole strike in Belgium for trains. So if you want to travel in Belgium between towns, you need to take a train. So I hitchhiked, uh, and I was the only one in the class, doing the exam
This was for level two or
for
three?
level two. For level
Wow.
two. So I didn't have actually any tasting experience. So I did my level three a couple years after that, and I knew that I had to develop my tasting skills. I did my level three in Milan, 5 intensive days, you know, Monday to Friday, and Friday exam. I passed. With level two, I found a job on a cruise ship as a sommelier. When I finished my WST level three in wines, I found a position of a head sommelier in Four Seasons in Bahrain.
Wow.
After that, I opened my own school in Macedonia, Wineway. And after that, I started my diploma, which took a long time to finish. And last year, I opened my business in Miami called Thirsty and Wise. And the idea is also to bring WSET in Miami. And actually, last year when I was in Miami, I got results from the WST that I passed my diploma.
Excellent.
So, now with
Everyone
my
has everyone has a unique path in wine.
yeah,
I don't know if I mentioned to you before, I used to work in the pharmaceutical business. I was in sales,
wow,
and we did quite a bit of entertaining with restaurateurs. I was living in Chicago at the time, and I started getting invitations to trade events, the Trade Bicchieri, the UGC from Bordeaux. And that's kind of when I had an epiphany that I wanted to change gears and work in the wine business. That's when I took the advanced there in Chicago. My diploma at the time in the US was only offered, I believe, in New York City, Boston, and maybe California and Napa Wine Academy. Um, so I took it at the International Wine Center in New York City. So I was flying back and forth
yeah.
and taking the different sections for the diploma. And it's once you get involved with it and you just want to keep going, it's WSET is fantastic.
Would you do the diploma now again when you know
I think
how
so.
it,
I know we always toss around doing t pursuing the Master of Wine. Many of
yeah.
our guests ask. So it's I have the picture of the emblem of Master of Wine on my wall. So it's I think I'm gonna pursue it at some point.
Really? Nice. Nice. I mean, I'm considering the continuing my, I know that you have as well the CMS, right?
I did the intro to the
Intro.
court.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
did the certified,
Oh,
and
you did. Nice.
I tried once the advanced. I failed, but I wasn't experienced enough when I tried it. Now I'm considering to continue it. I'm also considering doing the Master of Wine, but it's very expensive. Um, you know, doing the CMS advanced is around $1,200 around in Europe, so it's not a big deal. Master of Wine, it's everything included, without travel, without wine is around $20,000. So, and the pass rate is 10%. So, you know,
That's like the
you
Mount.
need to be
That's the
slightly arrogant, to start the Master of Wine program.
that's like the Mount Everest of wine certifications, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
What do you think? What's in your opinion? What do you think is the difference, the main difference between the court and the WSET?
huge difference, huge difference. For WSET is all about the understanding. It's going very deep into the understanding. Even on the WSET diploma, the program doesn't really go to this obscure regions around the world. It's very much, going to very classic regions, countries, and appellations. It's not, with the court, it's not so much about the understanding. I actually have the book of the court here with me. I read it the other day. The viticulture and vinification is like 20 pages. And the book doesn't change, the program for viticulture and vinification doesn't change, at least in the book, from the intro to the Master of Wine. Sorry, to the Master Sommelier level. It's all about having the knowledge of all the appellations in the world, you know,
Hmm.
things that you never heard about, that you probably
That's
never gonna be drinking or serving, but
right.
you still need to know it. The tasting is different. The tasting is very challenging compared to the WSET. WSET tasting, I never had an issue with the WSET tasting. On the Master of Wine level, I understand that it's much more challenging. You have like on the master exam, you have 36 wines that you're tasting, and you go very deep into uh, first identifying the wine and then explaining the logic why you chose, why you think the wines are that you chose.
Hmm.
Uh, but with the CMS, the tasting is different. It's very fast, 25 minutes, six wines. You have four minutes per wine. It's very challenging. You need to identify actually the grape and the regions and the quality level, uh, close as possible.
That's what I always liked about WSET. It's they're interested in your thought process behind the tasting note, how you arrived at it, um, why the profile is the way it is, and making a qualitative assessment. And the court, I think, just from my assessment, it's individuals who are going to work on a restaurant floor, and WSET has a bit more, I think, latitude with different facets of the trade, whether you're going to work for a distributor at a wine bar, a wine writer, an importer. I like the business aspect of it as well. I have a background in business. I found that to be very interesting. And as you mentioned earlier, I just think the well-rounded approach to it is what I really enjoyed about WSET.
Yeah, I agree. Like I don't enjoy learning fact information, learning all the 33 Grand Crus of Burgundy. You know, it's a great knowledge to have, but I know what's Grand Cru in Burgundy if I have it in my, I don't know, restaurant, or if I'm a supplier, a distributor, then I'm gonna know how to explain what's a Grand Cru,
Sure.
and to explain the price and all of that.
Mhm.
Knowing all 33, are you ever gonna have 33 Grand Crus of Burgundy in your restaurant or on your portfolio? But I think it's very rare to find the qualities in a person that can do well the CMS and also the WST. There's a lot of, I met also a lot of people that they finished the diploma and they did the CMS advanced, but then
Mhm.
when you come to that master level, obviously, it's a huge jump from the
Different.
advanced and diploma to that master level. Until you until we don't start, we're not gonna know,
I
what is
see.
that gap.
Yes. I see the prominence of WSET gaining a lot of visibility, and people are aware of the certification more than they were in past years. A lot of people were familiar with CMS. So I think there's a lot of opportunity here in our market in Milwaukee with, especially with the restaurant and hospitality community. We've been getting a lot of folks reaching out that are interested in a formal certification now that we offer it locally, which has been a really positive thing. People that are work for distributors and, you know, consumers as well that have a really vast interest in learning more and expanding on their knowledge, whether it be for collecting or just their own personal interest. A lot of people travel and visit different regions, and I think they really want a deeper understanding. So I think it's great for both serious consumers and people in the trade.
I mean, absolutely. I think, I read a lot about that wine consumption is going down, that wine is too complicated. This is the topic that I see a lot now. But actually, like in real life, when I talk to people in restaurants, in retail shops, I think, it's actually lack of knowledge that is the issue for both consumers and also in the trade. You have so many people in the trade that I met that, they're sales specialists. They don't have any certification. Not that I'm not saying that you need to have it, but listen, if you're working in the trade and you don't have a CMS, or you don't have any of the WSET, where did you learn about wine? Did you learn on your own? Great, but what the thing that I like the most about WSET, it is because it gives you a structure how to learn. You know,
Totally agree.
you can go online and you can read information that maybe a master of wine doesn't know. But I'm gonna ask you, what are the three types of wine? I'm gonna ask you what is a style of wine. I'm gonna ask you, explain me, you're gonna tell me I like this wine, but you're not gonna be able to explain why do you like it. And it's really not about being snobby. It's about, if you enjoy wine, why not learn a little bit more so you're gonna enjoy it more?
Totally agree.
There was a study between, I believe, WSET and Master of Wine Institute. So they did a study how actually wine education influences wine people. So two things changed. People started exploring different wines, different regions, things that they never tried or considered before.
Hmm.
And they actually started spending more money on wine. Not a lot, but they started experimenting. I
Yes.
just had the other day here in Macedonia, but this is a trend everywhere. People go to a retail shop, a nice retail shop, with a lot of choices, and they stick to things that they could buy in a grocery store.
Maybe familiarity.
No, absolutely. The lack of knowledge, restricts you in exploring, being more adventurous. And for me, wine is all about that. I don't stick to producers. If I see something that I never tried before, I would love to try that.
And that's another reason why it's such an exciting time. I mean, there's wines that were not available 10 years ago, 15 years ago. The just the breadth and the depth of wine that's from obscure regions and maybe people aren't as familiar with, but there's profiles that they would like if they experienced them and tasted them. And I think that's why program like WSET gives people the knowledge to understand conceptually what a wine from a specific region, the characteristics that it may potentially have. And I just think as you said, like it expands on exploration and their enjoyment of wine in general. And that's of course, some of the varietals that people are familiar with, maybe when they first get into wine, they stick, but I think it just opens up a whole opportunity just to explore and to experience uh, many different wines from many different regions in the world. And it's you know, wine is like I think we have discussions about terroir, and wine's almost like an ambassador of where it's from. It has a unique signature of it speaks to its sense of place. The term terroir, the French term.
I know,
Is
like for me, I would love, I think terroir word is one of those terms that are not when you say it, people don't understand what it is, and it's many things. It's what happens in the vineyard, it's what happens in the winery. For me, it's also about, what is the philosophy of the winemaker. For me, terroir is all that.
yes.
Um, and when people do WST level 3 in wines, when they understand the first 76 pages of the book that explains the viticulture, the vinification, what are the options, what are the possibilities of doing with a wine, making different styles, and how does the vineyard and the winemaking affect the style and quality of the wine, that is terroir. So if you understand the first 76 pages of WST Level 3 book, if you know how to explain it, that's terroir. And then, the best educators, the best, um, I wouldn't even say the best, maybe the modest um, wine people, they're going to teach you about wine, they're going to tell you about wine, they're going to explain you about wine in a way that you can understand, in a way that's not snobby. I think that's something that the world of wine, hospitality, wine business needs more than anything else. Less snobbiness, more easy absorbed, logical explanation for wine. Um, what was the biggest, I just had a student now that started the WST Level 3 in wine program, and he asked me, so he started a program with a different school
Hmm.
because of the location, but because I do a lot of content online on YouTube for level 3, and people are reaching out. So he started a program, and he's asking me now, is there a big difference between level 2 and level 3? What was First of all, I would say, what, before you start the program, I would do first um, checking out and having better understanding about the depth and difference between level 2 and level 3. Because level 3, the pass rate is 50%. I pretty
Hmm.
much know what is the main pain point for most students. It is the lack of understanding what WSET is looking for. It is underestimating level three because level two was too easy, probably.
Hmm.
And then the third thing is not putting enough work, which is actually needed for level three. What was your experience when you did your level two to level three? Was it a big shock for you? When did you realize, and how
Well,
did you realize what you need to do in order to pass level three?
I actually jumped right into level three
Wow.
myself. I took the intro to court and I realized that at that point, I wanted to pursue it all the way through the diploma level. So I figured if I'm going to study and put my time in, I I intended on learning the information and completing level three. So I think I tasted as much as I could. I studied at the SAT. I studied notes that were tasting notes of what the expectations of WSET was looking for, what was a good note, what was a not so good note, and really looking at the areas of the world that they focused on and how the theory questions were structured. And as you said, defining, describing, and being able to explain the concepts behind how WC, what the expectations were with how they wanted the theory questions formulated. And I focused on those areas of, the ones that the primary focus was, and made sure that I thoroughly understood the information. I think
Did,
it's,
did you understood the part of command verbs, state, describe, explain? Because I think that's the one of the major misunderstood
I
uh,
agree.
things when students are preparing for level three. They have the knowledge, they have all this information, but when they come to the exam, they see these command verbs. I'm actually not sure myself if I was like fully aware of these command verbs when I did my exam. Now, as an educator, I'm like even like super hyped with these command verbs and what you actually need to write in order to pass. Like, when I did my diploma, D3 for the first time, D3 theory was the first exam that I failed on the diploma. I failed unclassified. Like I didn't understood where I did wrong. And yes, there's a big difference between level three and level four, but still, I think the main issue is not understanding what you actually need to state, describe, explain.
Yes.
Uh, for me, it's like if student knows this, if they understand this from the beginning, when they read through the material, it's like, oh, okay. So this is,
You'll have that in mind when you're preparing.
yeah.
I would agree. I would totally agree with your assessment of that.
Without, having this understanding, reading through the material is just going to be daunting, a lot of information, but you actually are not, you're not preparing, you're not reading the material with a sense of awareness of what is important in each region.
How would you say that your support program assists in preparation for level three, and aside from the course itself?
Yeah. I mean, for me, I take great responsibility. You know what? For level two, it's not a big deal. You're gonna pass. But for level three, I think, as an educator, there's a big responsibility on the educator giving the best chance to students to pass. And for that reason, I created a program with flashcards, multiple choice questions, Word documents where I extract all the factors per region, um, explaining all the, I think there's 66 factors that I identified in the first 76 pages of the book. You know, everything that I would have wanted to have when I was doing level three, I created that now, and we're offering it now for WSET WSET level three students with your school. Uh, but the other part is, students need to be aware that when they sign up, they need to, first thing that I do, I create a schedule. I see, what's the date today? What is the date of the exam? How many days to prepare do I have? I would recommend at least 3 months to prepare for level three, and then have a schedule, a reasonable schedule that fits to your specific, lifestyle, meaning life, work. Everybody's different, and then stick to it. If you have half an hour, do half an hour. Do, half an hour flashcards. But, have a schedule and just go tick, 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 with flashcards, with reading, with anything, and it's gonna the information and the time is gonna compound. What do you see, for example, in Wisconsin, like when people finish level one, level two, level three, like uh, professionals and also enthusiasts, how do they use the certification?
Well, we host a variety of tastings here, and I notice some of our students using the SAT as they taste through the wines. I think they have a new appreciation for what they're tasting. Some students, it's a second act for them. We have some folks who used to be lawyers that are now plan to work at the second part of their life in the wine business. Some people in culinary that want to start. They want to cook for people and they want to have a better understanding of the wine components so that they can make better pairings and educate their customers better. Um, People that work in wine bars and hospitality here, we've trained some staffs around town that don't have any formal education and they want a structured format to be able to study. There's been a wide variety of people both in on the trade and on the consumer side. So I think it's a great opportunity. And as I said, there's no other formal wine certification here in the state that's available. So it's a really great opportunity.
What would you say, for example, if somebody is on the edge of signing up or not, you know,
I think if they have a
what
strong
would be that push?
I think if they have a strong passion for it, and we've had some people that have visited that have, they're questioning whether they should pursue it. I can speak to my great experience for it, and I think if they have a passion for something, and we spend our life continually learning. I think you should always be learning, and if you have a strong passion for wine, I would strongly suggest that people pursue WSET because it's a phenomenal structured format for learning about wine and um, strengthening your tasting skills. I think that's one of the biggest things that I see people. They know what they like, but they don't know why they like it. And I think understanding some of the concepts in viticulture and enology helps them really understand why they like what they're enjoying, and they're able to, assist in their exploration of additional regions and wines that I think you could spend a lifetime discovering. I find it fascinating myself, even when uh, a distributor brings in wine region and wines that I've never heard of, and I think that's what's so exciting about the wine business. And I look forward to traveling to different regions and meeting with winemakers and learning about the history and geography. And I think it's an art form and incorporates science. And I think no matter what your background is, you'll find some aspect of it that you can relate to, and there's just so much more involved with it. It's a very unique wine is very unique in that it incorporates all of those things in one. History, geography, science, art. It's just wine is a beautiful thing for me.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I would say, what if I would have students now that are on the edge of signing up for level three, we met few months ago. I reached out with an email of collaborating, and we just had like a good relationship, easy conversation about this. We're on the same page. Uh, from our side, I created this program, study and support program that is going to help students. Uh, I'm charging for this program for students that are doing the WST level 3, but they're not doing the course with me. Different schools charge a lot of money just for mock questions and to have few hours with the educator. Students, when they come to how should I pronounce, should I call your school Corvina Wine School or Midwest Wine?
That's Midwest Wine Center.
Midwest Wine Center. I mean, like, students are gonna get so much value in this. You know, we're behind the scenes, we're talking so much about, how can we create the schedule so it can fit the students' needs, work life, and pursue for them to pursue this, to have when we were creating the schedule, how many days the students will have in order to prepare. One thing is to have enough time to prepare, but like having too much time is also, it can backfire. So you can prepare a lot, put a lot of intensity on the beginning and then cool down, forget stuff, and then, having the exam like several months after that, it's also not a great schedule. So I would say, I take a lot of responsibility for, I don't want to have a 50% pass rate. When we do level three, I want 100%. I don't know if that's realistic or not, but giving the best chances with the right schedule, with the study and support program, pushing a little bit the students, giving them, a heads up on the beginning. Listen, I want you to pass. You need to put, the 95% of the work. But we have the study and support program. I'm honestly always available to students if they ask me, if they send me an email, a text, I always answer. So the best chance that they have to pass, I think, the moment is now. And I'll do everything from my side to make students for them to be successful, but they need to be aware that
Put
they
the
need
time
to
in.
put the work. They need to put the time, they need to put the work. A lot of a big part of this study and support program is actually spending time creating all this content, all these questions. It takes a lot of time. So I took that time away to create it. So now it's for you just to go through it. Um, and let's see, if we can have the 100% pass rate.
Look forward to it.
Frank, I mean, thank you so much. First of all, for the opportunity to collaborate. This is wine.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Peter.
This is why I really look forward coming to Wisconsin, to Milwaukee. meeting you in person, meeting wine people in Milwaukee. And who knows, who knows where this will lead.
All positive.
Yeah,
Thank you, Peter. Looking forward to meeting you in person as well.
yeah. No, honestly, Frank, I mean this, it's not just about the WST level 3. I'm really glad that I met you,
Same.
for us to do this successfully for wine people. I really don't want to have, 50% pass rate. Um, I'll I'll do my best to give the support for students, but also, like, the big stuff is actually telling them in advance. You know what? The pass rate is 50%. You need to put the work. I'll give you
The tools.
the
Yeah.
tools. I'll give you the strategy. The strategy is also super important because a lot of people are not explaining the strategy to students.
Yes.
That's a big part.
I could tell you that the people that have registered so far and have expressed interest are really engaged. They're studying already. They're taking it to succeed. They're going to put their time in. I think what I've noticed, the people that have showed interest in level three, there's a some people for level two take it maybe casually and they pass, but I think there's a considerable leap in interest and engagement with level three. So I anticipate a lot of success too.
Yeah. Yeah, let's bring the pass rate a little bit higher.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Well, thank you,
Uh,
Peter.
yeah. What's for example, if you would recommend what's the wine on WST level 3 that you would drink?
Um, I really like Cru Beaujolais. That's what
Ah,
I've
yeah.
been
Okay. Nice.
enjoying. Morgon, Fleury. There's a producer called Lapierre. Have you had it?
No, no.
Morgon. So he has some declassified fruit, so it's just general, either village level, but his crews are fantastic. Enough fruit there and generosity, but good structure, and it's fantastic. How
Yeah.
about you? What?
I mean, I love your choice because it's not something that comes first to mind. I like your choice because it's a great value for money.
Yes,
I always look for wines that are over delivering. It's easy,
yes,
to pay a lot of money for a wine, and honestly, the price for me is higher price wines don't equal higher quality.
right.
Honestly, even with I think actually with one of the biggest um, advantages of people investing a little bit in their wine education is actually knowing, the value of the wine that they buy. You know,
Yes,
don't be
yep,
a sucker. Don't overpay for wines that just just because it's a higher price wine.
totally agree. Like
Um,
we brought in recently Verdeca from Puglia, obscure Italian grape, but it provides people exactly what they're looking for: fresh, floral, great fruit content, and it's delicious. And it's, maybe someone that is looking, they come in and they want a Sauvignon Blanc or something they're more familiar with, but it is obscure Italian grape. And to your point, that's why you'll still enjoy the wine thoroughly, and you're not going to
yeah,
pay a fraction of the price, but it's delicious.
yeah,
It's
absolutely. I mean,
enjoyable.
for me, if I would choose one wine, I mean, I love Nebbiolo.
Yes.
It's probably my favorite grape. I like wines that are that are not ripe. I like, herbaceousness. I like tartness. I like acidity. I like tannin. I don't like a lot of oak in the wine. I don't like overripeness.
I agree.
Barolo is usually, higher priced. It's not a wine that I would buy on a weekly basis. There's a Greek grape called Xinomavro that if you would taste a Nebbiolo and Xinomavro side by side, you would not tell a difference. And in
Similar
Greece,
profile.
you
Yeah.
can buy a Xinomavro like for $15, like a very good to outstanding quality. And
Hmm.
these are the things that, if you taste these wines, if you have a little bit of knowledge, this is something that you can explore. When you go to your vacation to Greece, don't have a Cabernet Sauvignon from, I don't know, have a Xinoro. Try different stuff.